The Internet Computer Protocol is going to shock the world this year, and unfortunately for all the haters, there's nothing you can do about it. Now, yes, we have already seen the insane growth it's had over the last few months here, but by the end of this video, you should have a firm grasp on why ICP still has a lot of room to grow, and why I personally will be going all in on this altcoin very soon here. And now, of course, for those already down below wondering, this isn't me trying to hype you up like every other YouTuber might. I am here simply with the cold, hard facts. Just try not to FOMO in after you watch the video. Now, if you appreciate as well how much effort I put into the video, or if you just wanted to say a big thank you, I would kindly ask to hit the like button, and also importantly, you subscribe so you can achieve your crypto goals. Let's get right into the facts. There's only ever been 2 altcoins in the history of my 4 years of extensive crypto research that have left me in a position where my jaw has been on the ground when I began researching them. And of course, as you might have guessed, ICP is one of them. So it's safe to say that you can expect a lot more ICP content coming on the channel here soon. It's actually very similar to a few of the other altcoins I already have a lot of data on. So if you're an ICP fan and want to invest in your free ICP education, you're going to want to be subscribed with that bell turned on. You might be someone who's a passive crypto investor, and maybe you've purchased ICP in the past, or maybe you just don't really know how to summarize this project. Well, I've done it here for you. ICP is the next evolution of Web 2. It's the next evolution of the internet, really. It truly is. That's their intention, right? So it's true Web3, everything all-inclusive, all built on this cloud, which is the internet computer itself. It's very much so self-sustainable and completely decentralized. Again, the common denominator here is it is the world computer. Essentially, that is what it actually is. So that's the best way I can summarize it and describe it. So the rest of this video, I do want to go over, not per se exactly how it works. That's a video coming out here in about a week or so, where I'm going to dive into how ICP actually works and how everything kind of fits together. But I want to talk about its value proposition. What is actually going to be the demand aspects on this side? Because whether you know it or not, a big part of cryptocurrency is attracting Web3, which is where instant big money comes in. Degens, right? They just FOMO and just jump in like a bunch of apes. And then you have Web 2, which takes longer to establish, longer to build trust, whether it's corporations or the average retail investor, to bring into Web 2 or to use your service for Web 3. And the interesting thing here is, like I try to describe sometimes with the Venn diagram, where we have Web 2, Web 3, and a mixture of both in the middle, you want to be in the middle. The more in the middle you are, the more you're going to benefit from instant, fast demand over here from Web 3, but less impactful over time. And Web 2, which is slower at the start, but longer term, bigger growth. So again, in the middle is you're ticking both boxes. And great for us, obviously ICP is directly, you can't get any more than the middle than ICP, which is great for the next bull run and beyond. So things like WebAssembly, canisters, so the smart contracts, very flexible, energy efficient. Actually, we'll see in a second here, uses less power every day than an entire household. On-chain, cheap storage, okay? $5 per gigabyte per year of storage. Chain key cryptography makes it extremely interoperable. Matter of fact, it can pretty much connect to any blockchain out there without the traditional, or at least even the new solutions, because even the new solutions aren't that great. Also has a reverse gas model, so no cost transactions for the end user, and it's very easy to use for the end user, making it viable over here. So there's a lot of good things to again say about ICP, which again is why I'm going to make a dedicated video going into these sort of things. But that isn't the premise of this video. We're going to get into the data to show you why it's going to explode here in a second. And also at the end of the video, I'm going to give you some price levels I'm looking at to get into the project very soon. So we can see things like the social interactions 10xing since even December last year. Now I know the chart looks kind of funny. We're way down here technically right now, but this is on Lunar Crush, and I love Lunar Crush, but they've let the ball drop a bit recently. This likely is probably sitting around here right now, and either way, we have 10x since December, so it's only pretty much been a month and a half, and the growth on average has 10x, which means more social interactions, more people are looking to buy the project, which means we get better and better prices. Over here, daily consumption as well, the energy, less than a regular household, actually 1/3 of that. This is part of the reason why you might want to have large enterprises, right, conglomerates wanting to work or adopt your software from like Web 2 to Web 3, because again, this whole ESG climate change narrative is something that they're looking at. Also, total staked is about 50% of the total supply, which is fantastic. Most of that, if not all of that, is going towards this sort of governance structure, which is great. Again, I think 50% is a really good amount of the network to be staked, if that's even a metric you want to look at. Supply is both inflationary and deflationary. They call it variable. So it has 3 burn mechanisms and 2 inflation mechanisms. Right now, the inflation is beating the deflation, but of course, as more demand comes in for ICP actually being used, the bigger the network grows, it'll eventually become somewhat deflationary, or at least those inflationary rewards will stabilize. But guys, we're talking about 5% inflation, roughly speaking, every year here. So it's not that much anyway. But overall, if you want my entire opinion on the project without me going into the technology and stuff, it's one of the best networks I've ever come across, in my opinion, right up there and next to, maybe even arguably ahead of Hedera. And you guys know I love Hedera because it just simply is a step above the rest. So you can, of course, see a lot more ICP on this channel. So here's where I want to get into the kind of even more metrics with you all, but I want to talk about price, right? What's my price prediction? And if you're new to the channel, you're going to be blown away here because I just use data, none of my own personal opinions like you see elsewhere. And this will provide you a very good insight into why ICP is going to do well or not over the coming 12 to 24 months. So the first thing I want to do here is assess my personal goals. Now, I'm looking, for those who don't know, for a 25 to 30x in this bull run, okay? I don't care what altcoins I buy as long as I achieve my goal of a 25 to 30x. I hold no prejudice or any favorability towards any project. I just want to make my money. You moon boys might be in a bit of awakening if you think ICP is going to 100x from here, because ICP at $110 is a 9x, which by the way is a $55 billion market cap. $160 is the 13x, $80 billion market cap, and $210 is an 18x from today's price at $105 billion market cap. Now, we'll see some data here in a second that will actually support all 3 of those levels, I believe, being obtained. But either way, if you're looking for a 30x or a 40x or a 50x from today's price, you're likely going to be in for a rude awakening. Now, that's at a 501 million tokens in circulation. So if you guys simply remember from what we spoke about up here, we roughly have about 513 million tokens currently in total supply, but I'm factoring in circulating supply, okay? So right now, I think it's about 460 million. So all in all, I think ICP can most definitely hit a 100 billion market cap, maybe even, I think, a little bit more as well, possibly even 150 billion market cap. And if you're like, Kine, there's no way, bro, there's no way your project's going to hit that high or ICP is going to achieve that goal, I want to take your attention back over here to 2 examples in the last bull run that achieved this, right? So we're basically here right now. This is Cardano's chart, and we had all of this growth still to come in comparison to, of course, where we are right now, which was way back in 2020. So over here where ICP is right now at a 6 billion market cap, ADA went to $100 billion market cap. Keep in mind, this was the last cycle, guys. This wasn't the cycle we're currently seeing. That cycle topped at $2.9 trillion global market cap. We're expecting just 2024 alone to hit 3.2 trillion, which is going to exceed that. So a lot of money is going to come in the space. I think you'll be surprised. Same story with Solana, 6 billion market cap up to 80 billion. Now, the warning signs we're getting here, or at least the buy signals that's going off in my head, is telling me that ICP has all the characteristics to go well and truly above 100 billion market cap. You can't deny the signals, right? And so if we come over here and have a look at ICP's market dominance, this is kind of how we're going to base a lot of our price predictions off. If you don't already know, market dominance is whatever the current project you're looking at is, in this case, ICP's market cap is as a percentage of the global market cap. So we can see over here, if we zoom right in, ICP's current market dominance is 0.34%, meaning whatever the current market cap globally is, I think it's like 1.6 trillion. If you multiply 1.6 trillion by 0.34%, it'll come up with the exact market cap ICP currently is. So basically, when this goes up, like we're seeing here, that is an indication ICP isn't growing with the market, it's actually beating the market. An increase in market dominance means it's gaining on all other altcoins. And what we've seen here from the recent growth is essentially that ICP has dominated the market. Again, going up means it's beating the market, any altcoin for that matter, okay? So the only time we were pretty much at this level was way back here in 2021, which I don't know if you really realize this or not. You should if you're in ICP. That, of course, it had the massive crash. It blew up and crashed thanks to Sam Bankman-Fried's manipulation. So we don't want to look at that. Basically, the only other time we've really been at this level was over here in January of 2022, about 2 years ago. So notice that we really, again, ignore all this, haven't basically been at this level in a real bull run before. Like, we really haven't, okay? At least natural organic growth. So we have no real indication of knowing where it's going to go. So in this case, I'm going to compare it to ADA because it in many ways reminds me of ADA in 2022, like I just showed you before, way back down here. All right. So ADA back then at that exact point was a 0.5% market dominance. Currently, ICP's is about 0.34%. So it's not quite the same. It's a little bit less. But remember, back then there was less projects. The market was less saturated. So ICP effectively has a larger market cap size than what ADA did back then. And from this point, ADA went on 2 years later to do a 9x of that market dominance to go to 4.5%. Quite impressive. So we're going to base it on that. Roughly speaking, a 9 to 10x, okay? So from its current market dominance, a 9x will be about 3.1% at its peak. But of course, this information is kind of useless because if you don't already know, you might be a bit lost thinking to yourself, what's the point of market dominance, Kyron? Because we have to find out what the global market cap is going to be. That's the only reason why you can really do this is by going, the market cap globally will be 10 trillion at one point, and then we can figure out what the percentage of ICP will be at that time, which will give us a rough market cap, giving us a rough price. And that, my friend, is exactly what we're going to do here. Hold your horses, this is where it's get fun. So I touched on this chart that I made a few days ago for Hedera and its example, and I'm going to reuse it again for ICP because this most definitely is cross-transferable, okay? So I really would love a like on the video right now for just this alone. This took me quite a while to do, and we can see the global market cap in this case being charted, and from back where we are today at about a 300 billion market cap, the global market went from that point in time, back in 2020, to the top at 2.9 trillion, 10xing. It basically 10x its growth, right? 300 billion into basically 3 trillion, and from that same point as well, we 5x'd 12 months off, which will be basically the end of this year, 12 months away from here, end of 2024, 12 months from here, we basically 5x at that point, okay? So 5x, and then in this short period of time, we 5x more, or doubled, okay? And so we can kind of plot this out and look at it from what it'll be in this cycle, roughly speaking, okay? And so from today, we're at a 1.6 trillion market cap, which is obviously a lot more than we were equivalent to back then. And so if we, of course, predict what the market cap will be in the next 12 months, we can kind of just 2x that, like what happened over here, to figure out what will happen in 2025, or what the rough market cap peak will be. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, Kyron, how the hell do you predict what the market cap will be in the next 12 months? Well, to save you all a little bit of time, I actually went and basically all in the news we've been doing on the channel, looked at a whole bunch of predictions from these large institutions and also ETF issuers on what they predict not only the global market will go to, but also Bitcoin will go to. And to save you again all the time, their general consensus was that Bitcoin will hit about $80,000 or at least go to $70,000 this year. And the market cap will be about 3.2 trillion, meaning $80,000 Bitcoin and the global market being 3.2 trillion are basically the same thing. That would mean Bitcoin being $80,000-ish, that market cap in relation to the global market cap would be about half. Normally Bitcoin stays about 50-50 market dominance with the global market, meaning that the global market cap will be around 3.2 trillion. So they all, I guess, line up really eerily the same. So I've gone ahead and plotted about 3.2 trillion. And of course, as I said before, doubled that for that next peak over here at 6.5 trillion, which again makes even more sense when you consider the fact that cycle on cycle on cycle, we have basically been diminishing our returns from the halving to the top by 2x. First cycle was like a 250x from halving the top. Next cycle was about 125x, and this one here will be a lot less. Yeah, we can definitely kind of look at this as at least a good guideline to figure out, okay, well, now we know a few things, right? Now we know that the global market's going to be about 3.2 trillion the end of this year, and in 2025, about 6.5 trillion. So all we've got to do is go, okay, well, if we kind of know ICP's market dominance and what that'll roughly be, we can kind of plot this out in terms of 2024 and 2025 over here and work out the market cap based on the market dominance, and then work out the supply at that point in time, and then we'll find the price. And that'll give us some important levels to then say, hey, we can expect ICP to go to this price. To cut a long story short, and I know, I get it, some of you guys are probably scratching your heads right now thinking to yourself, wow, this is over my head. I get it. I'm going to make this sheet you're looking at right now, all of this completely free for you guys in the Discord. It's a free Discord. All you got to do is go to the general chat, and right above that, you'll see Miro boards, and I'll put this in there for you all to examine closely. So we have over here, roughly speaking, ICP's current market dominance 0.34. If at 9x, it's about 3.1%. So we're going to work with important levels here. We're going to say, well, what happens to ICP if the market dominance today stayed the same in 2024 and 2025, hence maintains market dominance? Mind you, this would mean that ICP would actually be holding steady. It would be holding the market. If the market goes up, ICP maintains that market dominance. But we're going to also look at, because I'm very bullish on ICP, and I do think that it will gain at some point market dominance. 99% of projects do in the bull run, because there's always different niches and phases that pop up at different times, causing projects to pump while the rest of the market stays down. And so I'm going to say 2x, 5x, and 10x its market dominance at these two intervals, at 2024 and 2025. So these are the market dominance levels. Of course, they're the same across all these. And so a 10x would basically be an ADA level event. Right? That would be basically the 10xing its market dominance, which I think it can definitely happen. But most, for sure, I can expect ICP to at least go to these three levels. So it's market dominance to 2x and at least 5x from the current percentage. So we, of course, can work out the percentages over here. It's just simply, again, the 3.2 trillion and 6.5 trillion times these percentages gives us these market caps down here. And then if we come down here, we can work out the price based on the, roughly speaking, circulating supply at that time, which is going to be about 478 million tokens and 501 million for the end of 2024 and the end of 2025. So these levels, to give you a baseline of what you're looking at, if it maintains, this is the worst case at basically 11 billion and 22 billion market cap. What happens if it 2x's, 5x's, and then 10x's market dominance, which again, the market caps are seen right here. So I would personally expect ICP to go well and truly above this. This is like worst case. So like worst case, you'll make money on ICP if you buy right now. Chances are anywhere between a 2 to like 4x. Non-financial advice, but that's what the data is saying right here. I think, realistically speaking, the lowest points will be these levels over here, which is a 2x. I think as well, a 5x is probably a nice middle ground to say ICP can go to, and a 10x would be like best case. So this would be like horrible worst case, and this would be like, probably best case. So a level in between these is more realistic. And as you can see, if we go way, way, way back up here, these are kind of the levels I would expect ICP to go to realistically. So $110 to $210. And so I haven't bought any ICP yet because back when it was $2.90, I was tempted, but I thought the market was going to go lower. All right, I had my intentions to back then. I never pulled the trigger, which I really regret. Same thing with Chainlink. So I am looking now for $8.60 down to $4.70 as like a realistic fall. Now, I get it. If it falls down to $4.70, that's a 61% drop, likely to not happen. However, I think that a 30% drop could happen here over the next 3 months, given some bad, events pop up, giving me a great time to buy. These are both levels of support and resistance, as you can see over here. So they are definitely supported in that sense. If we fall beneath $8.60, I think we will fall a little bit lower, at least down to maybe even $7-ish. So with that said, these are my two levels. And I tell you right now, I will be dropping some serious cash into ICP if this is hit. If not, look, I'm not going to hit my multiples from here. Best case, about a 20x for ICP. So I'm going to wait for it to fall. That way I can get my 30x out of the market and I'm going to make my money. So with that being said, everyone, thank you so much. Make sure you hit the like on the video if you've made it this far. And until next time, have a great day. Talk to you all soon.